Hey there, welcome back friends. Today we will try to fix this application furthermore and we will talk about forward and redirection of the URL. So in here, for example, if we click on this login link and try to submit this form by entering the username and password, then definitely take a note of it. Currently the URL is based on our site controller servlet, but later down the line the information is getting submitted to the file. Now it is not recommended to make use of these JSP files or HTML files or any other files directly. Rather, it is recommended to implement the business logic only in your servlet. So in here, let us try to understand how things are working. So in here, let me expand this. If we check, the login page is here, whose name is login.jsp. Let me show you. And if we check the login page is getting submitted to site controller. So let us check the site controller. And as we know, we are handling this via the method post. So definitely we need to check the do post method. And if we check, even the do post method is handling this request only. Alright, which is cool. Now friends, do understand this, that when it comes to servlets, we only have do get and do post method, and definitely a single method can handle multiple requests based on your switch case, for example. So definitely we need to convert this particular logic based on switch case, and definitely we would be submitting to a URL and not to this member area.jsp file. So let us convert things a little. So let me cut this information real quick, and in here let me create a yet another public method. The return type would be void and name would be, for example, authenticate. Now friends, for this authenticate method, definitely we would require the request and response object. So let us quickly copy this part and let us add in the parameters. Alright, so now things are better. And now definitely we would be adding a switch case inside this do post method, and then we will handle the submission process accordingly based on the information submitted from the form. Alright, so now in here let us quickly add in a string entity. The name of the string variable would be action, and let us request the parameter. So we will type in request.get parameter, and name of the parameter would be action. Alright, now let us add in a switch. Key would be action. Alright, and case would be login submission. Now friends, if we check this do get method real quick, then definitely we have created an URL for this login.jsp file by taking help of this switch case, which is cool. And take a note of this case. Case is what? Case is definitely same as the file name for the login.jsp file. Now when we are handling a specific action, for example form submission or things like that, it is always a better idea to give your cases a logical name. So in here we will give the name as login submit. Now if the action equals to login submit, then definitely we will call in the authenticate method. Alright, so this looks good. Alright, now let's navigate to our login.jsp and add in a action hidden parameter. Alright, so in order to add a element, we will definitely make use of input tag. Now this time the type would be hidden, and the name of this element would be action, and value would be definitely login submit. Alright, so now this looks good. Now let's navigate to site controller and check the logic which is inside this authenticate method. Now definitely in here we are making use of redirection, and we are redirecting to the files directly, which is not recommended. Now when to use what? If we have a specific URL based on a servlet, then make use of redirection based on the URL. But if we don't have the URL for the file, then definitely we have to make use of forwarding. Alright, so for login.jsp we have the URL. So let us add in the URL in here. First of all, we need to request the context path. So let us request the context path, and then we will concatenate this particular case where action is login and method is doGet. Right, so in here we will type in /site controller question mark action equals login. So that's the URL for our login page. Cool. Now let us check whether we have a member area URL or not. Now if we check the member area.jsp, this particular file needs to be handled by the member area controller. Let me expand this. So in here, inside this doGet method, we do have a switch case for destroy case, right? So we have a switch case ready, but we don't have a case where we are loading our member area file. So let us add in a yet another case in here. So we will type in case. Case would be member area, and in here we will do what? We will simply forward the request. So in here we will type in request dot get request dispatcher, and we will dispatch the request to what? Member area.jsp file. And let us now forward the objects. So we will type in forward request and response objects. Alright, so this is cool, and now definitely we have created an URL for member area as well. So how we will get the URL? URL is your context path, your base URL slash URL pattern for your servlet, question mark action equals to member area. Cool. So let us do the same. Let us navigate to site controller, and in here we will type in request dot get context path, concatenating our URL pattern for servlet, question mark action equals member area. Perfect. Alright, so definitely now we are handling the requests based on our servlets. Now let us quickly check whether everything is perfectly done or not. Alright, so in here we have forgot to add a break. Let us also do that. Here we go. Alright, now friends, if we check this case destroy, again in here we are sending the redirection to login.jsp. So again let me fix this as well. Alright, and if we check our member area.jsp, then again in here there is a situation where we are sending the redirection to login.jsp. So let me fix this as well. Alright, so now things looks good to me. Now friends, imagine that how difficult it is to modify a application, how difficult it is to debug things, and there is always a scope of error when we are modifying things. So always try to code professionally and follow the rules based on your programming architecture. Alright, now let us quickly run this application. Here we go. Let us click on login. Let us try to log in using username and password. Here we go. Perfect. Let us click on logout. Alright, perfect. So everything is working perfectly. Alright, so in our next video we will check a yet another interesting thing, which is how we can handle things when cookies are disabled in the web browser. So again, an interesting thing. Alright, so this is it for today's video. Thanks for watching and take care.